Chapter 11. I have tried every possible lifestyle in an attempt to find my own. As a forced migrant, I saw not only different countries, but also tried different lifestyles that I could not or was afraid to experience before. I have lived and visited rich countries such as a forced migrant, I saw not only different countries, but also tried different lifestyles that I could not or was afraid to experience before. I have lived and visited rich countries such as the Netherlands, Switzerland, Germany, and in less financially stable countries like Argentina, Chile, or Brazil. Although some people call the last two countries quite economically prosperous, it is difficult for me to assess such a statement as correct. I have a different impression. But it doesn't really matter, after all, everything is known by comparison. I lived in the Hare Krishna temple in Sao Paulo, almost as a monk, and a few years ago I was a worker in the Orthodox monasteries of Ukraine. I lived in a civil marriage, as well as in my parents' house with my parents. I lived alone in rented accommodation for several years. I lived as a refugee in houses with other people, where there were 300 people or less in transit camps. I had relationships not only with Slavic women, but also with foreign women. I lived on different continents. With hired workers and on my own, I lived a nomadic life and, in contrast, led a sedentary lifestyle. I know that many of you have lived like this. It's nothing special, I just want to share my thoughts with you after everything I've been through. So what have I learned from all of this? That every phase of life has its advantages and disadvantages. And the more you travel the world and interact with different people, the wider your perspective becomes, the more you understand, and the deeper you delve into various aspects of the world, becoming a true cosmopolitan rather than a narrow-minded or fanatical individual. Do you understand how great and boundless the world is, how rich and truly diverse it is, how nothing repeats itself, not even the trees? There is not a single leaf that is the same, not a single blade of grass that is the same. Everything is unique, one of a kind. So, trying different lifestyles, in each of them I managed to realize different kinds of losses and gains. Living alone gives freedom from a lot of obligations, but does not give responsibility for others. Living with a woman lands and obliges, but fills with memorable emotions, although not always positive. Taking care of someone encourages you to be stronger and strengthens your character. And the absence of those who need to donate their time, energy, and money frees up these resources to invest them in something else, and the list goes on indefinitely. For example, war. It brings horror, murder, and destruction, but it also gives many people the opportunity to leave their familiar world and see other places, to escape from the dull routine of their country, which was like a slave owner for most of the population. People get a better understanding of who they're living with, indifferent folks or loyal friends. The wives abandoned their husbands and began to cheat on them with foreigners, while their husbands fought for the freedom of their country in the trenches and on the battlefields, while their country kept them enslaved. At the same time big, healthy thugs would pick up innocent men on the streets, like those vicious criminals, and send them to obvious death, so that officials and the government would continue to profit from the war. And there are many such tragedies. That's why I write that different lifestyles and different conditions broaden your horizons and allow you to see the diversity of the world and the enormous opportunities it offers. After all, a person is not limited by anything, they build their own destiny, whether they stay in one place or travel all over the planet, work in a factory, fight in a war, or earn money from cryptocurrency or freelancing. The choice of how to live your life is vast. Sometimes, the only way to figure out who you are and what to do is through trial and error. We change roles here, as in a play, because this world is temporary. It is like a theatrical play in which an act of acting takes place, where in the end, everyone has the same outcome, physical death. After that, there is a transition to a new incarnation, to new worlds and new roles, further on the increasing, or maybe decreasing, it's up to luck. This is a kind of eternal struggle. The wheel turns and does not provide liberation. A cell called the body, and any of our actions inevitably brings consequences for what we have done. Whether it's a good or a bad action, we'll have to deal with it. No matter what we do, we're stuck in a vicious cycle, and there's no way out. But we need to get out. How? Spiritual teachers say that the only way is to dedicate all our actions to the Lord. I don't know about you, but I don't see any alternative. Otherwise, we are just standing still, trying to get out of the quicksand of our own actions, which lead to either heavy or light outcomes. And if we do not fulfill what we should and deserve in our incarnation, we will have to do so in one of the following incarnations. This is the way it is. No one can escape this fate. No one. Only liberated souls, and our main task is to find this liberation again. We must achieve this.